That's technically an internal struggle. That's jihad and nafs. What did the hadith say about the people who's coming back from war? Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you left this little jihad and now you're going back to the big jihad, to society. Jihad and nafs. Okay, I'm going to speed up. Internal and external. We just talked about it. We turned warships and all that into, this job is big. We got plenty of work to do for everybody. Like we say, we can have people go out on the deep ocean. We can have people that clean up within a mile or two of shore. And we can have people that stay close to the shore, cleaning that up. Turning over the sand, letting it air out, or water out, whatever we do. We can do all of that. We can do all that. There's plenty of work to do. Our idea is that we have a 20-year respite from what we're doing now, that we visualize where we want the world to be in 20 years, and we mobilize all the resources of the earth to work toward that. Okay, so whatever anybody else do, that's what we're working on now. It don't matter what they're doing. It's called, white folks call it a quantum jump. We call it a quantum leap. That means you leap over a lot of other stages of development to get where we're talking about. We got to first fix up our centers and all of that. We have to first make that a reality. We got to fix on the earth right now. Remember our 3-star, let's call it homeless shelters? We might just kick it up to 4. Don't white folks say 65% of the people that are homeless have psychological problems? Well, if you treat them like a human being, 35% of that is gone. If you invite them to breakfast in your place and what would you like today, Mr. Jones, for breakfast? Instead of having a long line, people with their mouths stuck out, you make your homeless, let's call it for lack of a word. In California, they call it unhoused people. They developing all new kind of words for homeless. Unhoused, ill-housed, all of that, And we can do all this right now. We could rent from the government all those, we won't do stuff with the government. We could rent all the old military bases, turn them into homeless camps, unhoused camps, all of that. We can do that now. That's when we walk out of here, going back to California, we're already in the process of doing that. That's where we're going. All that dumb prevention they was talking about, preventing us from our masjid. The quantum leap is when you jump over all of that, but you include that in your preliminary. We're just doing that for our preliminary steps. But our mind is not on that masjid in Oakland. When we opened that masjid, it was the biggest masjid in Oakland. Now it's the smallest in the whole region. It's just a little place. That means when Mandela got out of prison after 27 years, was he stuck back in the old ANC? No. He was ahead of everybody. said, we have to have in South Africa this type of system, that type of system. And while he was alive, he did it. He prevented the country from being ravaged and going crazy. Never was there a transfer of power from the small white group to the big black group. Wasn't perfect at all. No, no, no. But it worked. Because he had the vision. Nobody else was even thinking about that. Yeah, well, you know, charge an army. Well, if you had charge, do you think the white folks was going to give you charge an army if you knew you was going to kill them? They wouldn't give it to you. What's the first thing South Africa did when the blacks took over? They denuclearized. South Africa had an atomic bomb. They got rid of it on day one. Why? They didn't want to give it to niggas. No, we're not giving this to niggas. They had an atomic weapon. Damn Israel, they had them a long time ago. The first open heart surgery was done over 50 years ago in South Africa. Dr. Bernard Christian, somebody like that. In South Africa. High tech, they're high tech as we are here. They got everything that, when you go to South Africa, it's not going back in time like when you used to go to other parts of Africa. Anyway, we can turn warships into peace ships. We just have to, what I'm talking about is imagination. Imagination and vision. We talked about it in the Khutbah Friday. We also talked about self-image psychology. Self-image psychology is like a thermostat. When you move it, heat goes up. Move it down, you just send some cold air and cool it down, or it just lets it cool off. Then it heats up. It controls as a comfort zone. And we use those as a comfort zone to set a level that's comfortable. Between 68 and 72 degrees, people say that's a comfort zone. It's different for different people. That sets our identity, the self-image, the picture that you have of yourself and what you want to be and what you want to become controls your basic activity in life. Just think about it. You had a kind of goal, I want to get these classes, I want to get that, and I want to do this type of thing. And that's what you did. Because that was the picture you could see yourself doing it. So our vision and our identity controls our behavior, our identity, how we see ourselves, how we identify ourselves. We talked about self-esteem, how esteem means to weigh and measure, how we weigh and measure ourselves. Self-esteem. How we judge ourselves, how we weigh and measure ourselves. All of those things control or manage our values, what we will do, what we won't do. Our values. Then it even controls ability, capabilities. What do you mean? In sports or anything else, if a guy said, well, I can't jump that high. Can he jump that high? He can't. Because he don't think he can. And if you make him jump it, and he jump it, it could break a barrier for him. Like the 4-minute mile, they always use that. The 4-minute mile was a barrier for the human being for all the past history. They can't run that fast. They tied the human beings behind horses. They tried to. Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile, and within a few years, 42 people had broken, and now high schoolers run it. High schoolers, because they broke the barrier. You know, they broke that barrier of thinking. That's the way we have. Our problem, or the human being is, the stuff we talking about, they said, that's nice, it's not possible. It's not really possible. All the movies say it's not possible. All the Star Wars are Star Wars, not Star Peace. That means however far you go in the future, you'll still have those wars. That means the stupid human being, he's stupid right now. Right now we're not smart at all. You cannot classify the human being as intelligent, because the stuff that we're allowing is not, it's absurd. It's absurd to teach people how to kill other people. Go to any army, but that's what they do. Can you imagine? Why don't you teach people how to save people, how to rescue people, how to do anything? Teach everybody to do that. Teach all the people in school. Oh, the reason they used to, somebody in the school would go kill everybody is because that person was oppressed or isolated or cut off or some stupid thing. Teach children that when you see a loner, you people that are in the in crowd, invite them in. Say, come on in. You do that because it's good, not because you want to or you like it, but that's good for society. Make people, remember, most of the problems are psychological, but so is most of the cures. You ever heard of psychosomatic illness? Psychosomatic, mind and body. This statistic has not changed. They say, that's why placebos work. They say most of the illness is psychological. 65%. This is what white folks say, and they have the same estimate back in ancient times. All people come to that conclusion. Most of the illness is psychosomatic. Somo means body. 35% comes from your body. It's a real technical illness. Something went wrong in there. But did the witch doctor know that? Remember the guy going around? He gave you a tonic, and then he got all this voodoo stuff around, shit, blowing smoke on you. That's to heal your mind. Because you believe in that stuff he's doing. Therefore, 65% of the time, you're going to be cured. So he's going to be in business forever. Why? Because if you go to the witch doctor, hey man, 100 people go to him, 65% of them are going to be cured. Because they believe in this stuff, right? He's going to be cured. Then he's going to give you some plants and stuff, and that's going to cure, that may cure some of, they just study plants. Over here, we thought the witch doctor was some kind of fool that run around shaking things. And when I went to Africa, those medicine people, they cut open cadavers, they studied bodies. They were doctors, technically. You could go to the herb store, they had the big herbs, it had all kind of colors of medicines and different things, half of them worked. And the white man here studied them too. You know what he did? He just took them all, powdered them up, and crushed them up, and put them in a capsule or a pill. You get the same thing that we've been taking for years. Anyway, psychosomatic. If we can cure the psychological problems, right, we can cure 65% of the problems in the world just by curing the people's mind, right? We just got to think like that. We got to think that it can be done. We got to believe it could be done. See, before, you could go to school and get a job, and that would be fine. But you know, a doctor, when he graduates from the university, they got to go back at least, this is nowadays, no, this is 20 years ago, they had to restudy in their field every 5 years. Probably they have to go back every other year now, because technology in medicine is zooming, right? New machines, new technology, and if you don't stay up, you gone. You know what I mean? I was watching one of the medical programs I like watching. It's called New Amsterdam. It's New Amsterdam. That's what they used to call New York in the old days. So it's in New York. And it's the hospital. This is a program to do all social issues. Everything they have is, the background is health care, it's this, it's returning veterans, killing, you know, it's all a social program. So what I do on TV is I do binge watching. No, I do binge watching. I'll wait the whole year, and I got programs I like. I said, I'm taking the day off, and I'm watching all of those programs. And you don't see me for Salat. Other than that, I'm binge watching. Okay, so anyway, why? Because they have, in this program they have certain type of doctors. They had a Negro doctor, and they had a young Negro doctor last week, or last year, whenever they had it, I saw it last week. He had to teach the older doctor, not an older doctor, the doctor would be in his 30s, the head of the whole little medical thing there. This young brother in his 20s had to teach him, he would, some of the new techniques. You know, in other words, historically, if doctors have to go back every 5 years, probably now it's 2 years or 3 years at most. But what about us? What about the human existence? We have to go back and we have to revive our thinking. Now, the thinking for today, and I'm going to move toward a close. All of this starts, really it starts from our belief system. Because if we're going to follow the Quran, that mufsid, that can create mischief and spread and shed blood in the land, we have to bring the good out of human beings. That's what Allah says. I know what you know, what you know, talking to the angels, but I know what you know not. In other words, the best the human being has possibilities in them that you don't know nothing about. That's the angels. All they could see is he would be given authority above any other creation. I don't know whether it's 10,000 years ago, whether it's, I don't know when, But there's a time back in history, let's choose just 10,000 years ago, where the human being existed. See, Adam was not the first human being, but he was the first prophet. Why would you need a prophet? Because the human being is now being given authority above the animals. So, if you go back and dig up human beings, you can dig up Musa, 3 million years old. They done dug up somebody else that was more than that, at least they say. So the human being has been here a long time, but at a certain period in history, you can see it in his technical development. All of a sudden, he's living in the caves, wandering around, he's a hunter and gatherer, and all of a sudden now, some switch turns on and he's evolving. Pretty soon you have Mesopotamia, you have the Nile Delta, right? And he go from the Stone Age to pyramids. I mean, pretty quick too. So, I'm not saying that's when Allah gave him authority, but let's say something happened somewhere back then where he's given, because he was here already. Don't say he wasn't here, because they dig him up all the time. Dinosaurs was here, but we don't see them running around now. So something was here that had them big old bones, right? They probably was here. Good chance they was here. The human being was here as a human being. They got all this Cro-Magnon man, Neanderthal man, and all of that. You know, that's what they say. But some time ago, he was given something, authority, and he rose with it. But now, he done got out of hand. That's what our job is. I'm going to move toward a close. Vision, identity, values, capabilities, your ability. If we say we can't do it, we can't do it. That's why we have to convince ourselves we can do it. This is not new teaching. Technically, I've been sitting on this stuff for over a decade. If you read the old As-Sabiqun, it talks about these type of things. Somewhere over the rainbow, you know, all those. I don't know if you read all of them. Yeah, blue skies. The land I heard of once in an lullaby. We have been here psychologically for a long time. I judge it as a time like in Jahiliyyah, when we jumped from one level to another. I went into temporary retirement to think about all of that stuff happening. I'll kind of pick it up. So I went into a personal retirement. I was young, 21, 22. Shoot, I had $25,000 cash at least and 2 Cadillacs. And so I kind of retired. I would make maybe $50 or $100 a day. That means I'd see 1 or 2 people a day, or 4 or 5 a week, just so I wouldn't have to go back and spend up old money, as we call it. But I was in a type of retirement that was over 50 years ago. So I went into this retirement late 67. 68 was a retirement period. By mid-68, I woke up to what I wanted to do, and within 3 months, everything I was visualizing, that's when I learned about visualization. Technically, I didn't know what I was doing. But I was just visualizing limousines going down the street, businesses pulling off from the curb. When I got back to work, in 3 months, that was done. I still didn't know what it was called. White folks call it visualization. I was visualizing, I was picturing. I saw it clear as a bell, what I wanted life to be like. 3 months. In 6 months it was done. It was done in 6 months. It was done in 6 months. That's what a period we've been going through recently. The white man thought it was something else. But it was a natural cycle. Let's take it easy, doing our rounds, laughing, talking, fumbling around, keeping things moving. All of that stuff they're doing, wasn't paying attention to it. Well, we were paying attention to it, but it was teaching. Now we are convinced that this is what we have to do. We've been knowing it for over a decade, but now we're convinced. And that's the way we view that. Vision, identity, values, capabilities, abilities, you know. If you don't think you can do it, you're not going to do it. Now, not only we know we can do it, but we have to do it. We got an extra incentive, or we can leave it to the mean old white man. So our behavior will fall in line with our capabilities in our environment that demanded what we have to do. Okay. So in closing, what we was learning or relearning, because a lot of what you do now, almost everything is relearning what you already know. When we read As-Sabiqun, they're like a relearning experience. You know, you may have written them yourself, that don't mean nothing. But you're being reminded of what you already know. What would they call it? Job security. One of the things I want to say, job security is not like this. This is the stuff that is really nice. Because as you go through it, wherever you land, you're a lot higher and a lot bigger and a lot better than where you start. Job security, it ain't like this. It ain't like this. It's not like, personally, I haven't worked since 1966 because I couldn't work. I couldn't work. I can't work. I can't do that. I just couldn't. I mean, there's no, I couldn't do it. Because this is so much challenging, exciting, and you feel alive. It don't make no difference where you land. Because of what we're talking about and thinking about and hoping about, we gotta land. They're trying to prevent us from a masjid in Oakland. People are crazy. We done flew past that long time ago. We will do that, but that's just as it's necessary to do that. But that's not where we're going. That's why job security ain't nothing like this. It ain't nothing like it. And only thing I would suggest to the audience is try a little bit of life. Just go around and taste a little bit of things. And then see if you like it. Because this is real living. The other thing is, y'all are needed. y'all are needed. The human family is needed. So I got written here, we're going to take advantage of all technologies, but we don't want to overdo it. Yesterday we talked to the Salat, so we're not going to do that today. Okay, any questions or anything like that?
No questions from me.
Okay.
There weren't any questions here.
There are no questions there?
Yeah, there weren't any.
Okay, good. There are none.
Yeah, there's none.
Okay, good. Let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.